Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Taurus energy. And like usual, we're going to do 2 rows. It's just this time we're going to be using the tea leaf fortune cards. And we're going to have to get some clarifiers on it, needless, to figure out what's going on in Taurus energy. But like usual, we're going to have 2 rows. The top row is going to be for the people who've definitely learned some lesson in their life, that they are listening to their intuition, have a newfound love and respect for themselves, are going to live their life differently than they've been living it. The bottom row could be some people who aren't ready to make that kind of change in their life, haven't had that drive and motivation, might be more worldly focused. Some people might be more shadowy focused. And it could just be a battle going on within people, a struggle between the two. Because sometimes, as a human beings, we have this dualistic nature. We want the things that we want in the world, but we also want justice and fairness and love, and we have emotions, and we're emotionally complex people, so it's difficult. So anyway, we're going to talk about it all as we go. Whether you're a Taurus sun sign or cross-watching for a Taurus or just watching tarot, just listen to your intuition about where you are and how you harness your Taurus energy. Because, again, some people, Taurus energy has to do with our underlying philosophy of life. What are we motivated and inspired by? How do we view the world? How do we view ourselves? How do we view relationships? What do we find more important? Some people it's love. Being just and fair, acting with character and integrity. Some people that kind of takes a back seat because the world is most important. Their image or their status or money or indulgence or their ego or their fear. So anyway, we're probably going to cover it all. So let me get out 2 more cards here. Okay, we had a clump fall out. Okay, let me turn the camera down, because these cards have small print. I need them closer to my eyeballs. Let's start out with the top row. We have 2 cards not showing themselves. Ant. Work, achievement, success. Okay, so I would say that means, ants, they kind of all work together in a group for a common purpose. I would say there was either people are thinking of letting go of something they've been putting work and effort into, or they already did. And then we have the camel, persevere and you will overcome. The camel can remind me of people who you could have let go of, some people who are kind of emotionally, they don't overflow with emotion. They really hold their emotions in check, and giving and receiving love is at a minimum. You could have let some people like that go. You also might be going through a period of your life where you're really having to, the camel is moving forward. So you're really, the next card is the sunrise. You're really kind of maybe not indulging yourself emotionally in the world because you're focused on a new beginning, and you could be putting all your energy into getting to that destination. The sunrise says new creative ideas, new ventures, a fresh start. The door, opportunities are waiting for you. And the reason for the reading for the people in high vibe energy is the dog barking, advice from a friend. Some of you could have been someone who communicated to other people in the world to have hope and faith and belief in their dreams, to love themselves, to not get caught up in their fear and their insecurity or the illusion of the world, to make those things too important in their life, to keep things in perspective. And some people are taking your advice, and they see that the opportunities come from moving forward in hope and faith and belief, which part of high vibe energy is disciplining your more shadowy nature, because we all have this dualistic nature. We've all got our worldly nature, our fear, our insecurity, our pride, our ego, our more immature, indulgent nature. We want what we want when we want it, and we can like to have it where we don't even have to put in work and effort. That's our lazy nature. But it takes work and effort to get your dreams to come into reality. If you keep indulging your more lazy or impulsive or immature or indulgent or lustful, greedy nature, it stops you from moving forward in the direction you want to move forward. And we could look at the dog barking advice from a friend as just high vibe energy of love, of God, telling you keep putting in the work and effort. It will work out to your benefit. Because when we go in our shadow nature, our shadow nature is kind of reflective of the devil, in just the fact that there's high vibe energy in the world, there's low vibe energy in the world. We have the seeds of both within us, and our shadow energy wants to run our life, and our loving nature wants to run our life. Are we going to temper our shadow nature so that we can work cooperatively to get the most things in the world that we want, while still being someone we can be proud of, treating ourselves and others like we would like to be treated, acting with character and integrity, because being proud of yourself in a healthy sense is priceless. And when you act in ways that you're not proud of, that can really drive your life off into the ditch. Well, let's go take a look at the bottom row. We have 2 cards not showing itself. The horse, a short journey. Oh, that's funny, because, in our ego, we think we know best. It's like, no, God, I just want to go do this. No, I want that. No, I want to go and do that. I'm sure this will work. And, our more intuitive, loving nature probably told us, I don't think that's a good idea. We've done stuff like that before. It didn't work out. I don't think we should do that. And some people think that the journey they're going to go on, thinking they know best, they think it's going to be a short journey. I think they're wrong. If any of you have thought the answer to your problems was just to feel better in the moment, and you did put in the work and effort to love and believe in yourself and temper your fears and your insecurity and your pride and ego, it's a long journey. You kind of get a little bit off in the ditch and kind of create a little hell in your life, So they might think it's going to be a short journey. I just don't think it is. And then we have rainbow in reverse. The most difficult part of the situation is over. I'm not sure what that means. We'll have to work on that as we go. Then we have career in reverse, which could be just people even letting go of the loving people in their life. I'm not willing to work with that aspect within myself or work with those people. I'm going to make my life about the world and materialism or indulgence. I don't want to put in the work and effort. So that's kind of how I look at career, because generally we think of a career as something that we do put work and effort into. And some people don't want to put in work and effort. It takes work and effort to work cooperatively with people. You got to be just and fair and act with character and integrity and, treat other people the way you like to be treated. And some people don't want to put in that work and effort. And if some people had been, say they had a position where they were supposed to take on more responsibility or be more responsible, they don't want that responsibility. Then we have bread. Period of prosperity and abundance is what they think they're going to get. February. Well, we'll talk about that later when we get there. I know one of those zodiac signs is, it's probably Capricorn. I know one is Aquarius. Aquarius and Pisces. So Aquarius and Pisces can be about getting caught up in the illusions of thinking everything's going to work out right, and you're really smart, and you're really bright, and you're going to be like a shining star in the world, and have all your dreams come true. But in our shadow nature, if we're not being just and fair and open and honest and loving, and we have some growing and maturing to do, and maybe to learn some difficult life lessons, it's not going to turn out the way we think it's going to. And the Spear, heartache over what you no longer have. And so they think everything's going to work out okay, but it's not going to turn out the way they thought, because our shadow nature, our immature, prideful, egotistical, self-centered, impulsive nature, lies to us, just like the devil lies, you know? It makes it seem like we can have everything we want. We don't have to put in work and effort. We don't have to heal from past pain and heartbreak. We don't have to be balanced. We can just be, you know, and be bossy or controlling or immature or whatever, and everything will work out okay. And it ends up in heartache over what you no longer have. And the reason for their reading is the Vulture, depression, anxiety, worry that someone is against you, which, you know, it really doesn't matter if a person believes in God or the devil. I think we're just playing out those energies in life. There is, I think we can all admit that there's some people act very kind and loving and nurturing and supportive authentically. That's like high vibe loving energy represented by God. Then there's people who are shadowy and hurtful and unkind and abusive and self-centered and egotistical and narcissistic. You know, and that's like shadowy energy represented by the devil. And not everybody has to be on that extreme in their shadow nature, but we all have our shadowy, worldly, animalistic, beastly nature. We're the only animals that have the free will to elevate ourselves out of the animalistic realm, operating on impulse and instinct and I want, and, you know, to actually be more balanced and moderate in how we handle things. And anyway, we'll probably get into that more. Let's go ask. We have the Ant in reverse. Tell us about that. That's interesting. Something, and the reason this card, the reason for the reading is also the reason why the reading came out. You could have even had some people who quit moving forward with you because they took advice from someone and that person told them to stop working with you. That's too much work. Oh my gosh, you'd have to, you know, the sunrise kind of reminding me of the sun is like, you know, you'd have to be more open, more authentic, more loving, more warm. You know, you'd have to step out of your comfort zone and move through new doors in life and face your fears and insecurities. I think you should just stay back here with us and hang out with us, regardless if those are siblings or friends or family or other romantic interests that they had in their life, you know, or just their own shadow nature telling them, I don't think you should move forward. I think you should take what you think will be the easy way out, but it will really be the hard way out because apparently you were tempted to listen to your shadow nature. And some of you have done that enough times. It's like, I'm done. I am no longer listening to that yappy voice in my head, you know, because we have the free will choice to take control of our thoughts and our emotions. But until we learn to do that, you know, our mind and our ego can control our life. Two of Pentacles, because of the Three of Pentacles. People are tempted by their more worldly nature. These are two cards of Capricorn energy, and shadowy Capricorn energy is represented by the devil. When we get too caught up in the things of the world, our lust, our greed, I want what I want when I want it, you know, we can kind of go, I don't know, that takes work and effort to, you know, be just and fair and open and honest and loving. Maybe I can just juggle. Maybe I can present myself one way to the world, like I'm a pillar of society, and just kind of hide the fact that I might be more materialistically motivated, more ego motivated, you know, and I can just keep up this pretense in the world. And then they might have had other people, or you might have had other people in your life who you could have been tempted to stay in a relationship, or other people in your life, you know, where you can just juggle. You know, you don't have to put in work and effort, you know. If we have other people in our life that, You know, we don't really have to put in the work and effort. I can be here in a relationship with you, maybe look like we have the things of the world that we want, and I don't have to grow and mature myself. I don't have to face any of my fears or insecurities. I don't have to learn to shed some layers of my fear and insecurity and self-limiting beliefs. I can just make my life about the world and indulge in the world. Well, if some people were like that, they're getting out of that. If they had people in their life that were trying to tempt them to make their life more about the world, or you had people in your life doing that, some people are done with that. It's like, I'm not doing that anymore. You know, there comes a time in our life where we have to pick a path. You know, we're young and we want to be indulgent and more impulsive. You know, we learn these lessons in life, and, eventually it kind of gets to be, eventually I need to pick a path. Am I choosing love? Because there's people in the world who want me to choose love and be more just and fair. There's other people who don't require me to be just and fair. Basically it has to do with Taurus energy. What's my underlying philosophy of life? And you might realize some of the people you are working with have a different foundation that they operate from. And theirs is more worldly focused, not love focused, not being just and fair, not wanting to put in work and effort. Just find other people who are willing to work together with them. Maybe stay in a relationship with them because everything seems great by worldly standards. Tell us about the camel. All right. 6 of Cups, Emperor, 9 of Wands, 2 of Wands, the Virgo Hermit, the 10 of Wands, and the 8 of Wands in reverse. And the reason this came out is because of the Ace of Pentacles. So keep in mind, since these cards weren't showing themselves, some people could be doing this work kind of behind the scenes. I'm putting in work and effort to get balance within myself, to get grounded within myself. And high vibe Capricorn energy is about, I want to free myself from my fears, my insecurities, my self-limiting beliefs, some shadowy ways of living my life or shadowy people that I've been involved in. And it's kind of doing that work behind the scenes. And some people were doing work and effort to free themselves. Other people were still kind of juggling if they wanted to do that. And the people they were in relationship, or some of the people that are in relationship with people, don't realize that the person they're in a relationship with, if they're in a mismatched relationship, the shadowy people don't know that kind of the more loving people in their life are doing work to get balanced. And the loving people that could be in a relationship with someone who's a little bit more shadowy or worldly focused doesn't realize that the person they're in a relationship is kind of juggling if they even want to move forward with them. Don't get in paranoia if you're in a relationship. Listen to your intuition. At all times in a relationship, we can kind of got to recalibrate and balance ourselves out. Let your intuition guide you. And, if you love the person you're in a relationship and they're treating you with love, nothing's wasted. If it all blows up to hell, you've learned lessons. You can act with character and integrity. Just don't get stressed out about it. But there's definitely some people that could be realizing with the sunrise and starting to see the truth that the people they're in relationship with aren't motivated and inspired by the same things they are. So, the Camel card. Persevere and you will overcome a problem. The high vibe people are getting balance within themselves to be inspired, to listen, to love, and intuition to guide their actions. And they're trying to make really good decisions in their life, even though their heart might want them to do one thing. Well, I love them. They're making good decisions. I got to make a balanced decision. We can love people and know that we need to move away from them. Because if they're juggling, can't decide if they want to invest in a relationship, can't decide who they want to be in a relationship with, can't decide if they want to do love or they want to do the world, it's like, you know what? While you're juggling and you can't decide, I know my truth. And though I might love you, I'm going to make a good decision to have boundaries and maintain good boundaries within myself because I have a dream. And if I have been putting in work and effort, because from the 9 of Wands down to the 2 of Wands, somebody let go of the 7 of Wands. Part of that can be letting go of their own defensiveness of believing in themselves, that they can move forward in life, that they can have new beginnings in life, and maybe also stop defending some people in their life and being in their ego or being defensive to change, and focusing more on being inspired by what can be, and in the Virgo energy, going within to gain insight and understanding about why would they have even defended that old way of living life? Why would they have defended those people in their life? You know, what is it within them that was defensive to believing in their dreams? And, you know, sometimes we got to stop and ask ourselves that. Why don't I stand up for myself? Why have I maybe stayed in a relationship being defensive, maybe in a relationship with someone who could present themselves as like a loving family person, but might really be kind of bossy or controlling, or kind of seems to make decisions that are just best for them? Or why have I been that type of person? Why have I not been like authentically myself? Because that's what high vibe energy is. Why would I wear a false mask? Is it because I'm motivated to look like a boss in the world? Is that really being a boss in the world? If I'm not really even being authentically myself in the world and I'm wearing a false mask? You know, freedom in high vibe energy is authentically being able to be yourself. And that's kind of the 7 of Wands energy, which is Leo energy. Am I going to keep moving forward with other people who are defensive, who I might love, but they're kind of bossy and controlling and make me feel defensive, can't seem to decide if they want to invest in me? Or am I someone who juggles, who isn't authentically myself because I'm defensive? Why am I not letting go of my defensiveness? Why am I not choosing to be inspired by love? You know, that's how my dreams can come into reality. Do I really want to move forward living my life like this, or moving forward with other people who are like this? Is this my dream? Am I going to keep defending this dream? This way of living life? And the difference is that some people are willing to go within to gain insight and understanding about these questions, to see the truth. Because the truth sets us free to live our life differently. And some of the people that we might be in a relationship with don't want to do that. And that could be why sometimes we end up, I think it's kind of a confusing way to view it, but I think that when we're kind of in our shadowy energy and we have lessons to learn in life about loving and believing in ourselves and standing up for ourselves and being authentically ourselves, we have all these lessons to learn. So we'll be drawn and attracted to people in life that we could have similar wounding and stuff, and it's for us to help us get clear about our truth, and they might kind of represent our own kind of shadowy nature to a degree. They could be much worse than that because, you know, you open the door to shadow because you have lessons learned, and the door to shadow is wide. You know, you get a complete narcissist, or you get a really abusive person. But the whole point of it is to get you, if you haven't seen the truth, that it's about giving everything you've got to be inspired to love and believe in yourself and believe in your dreams. Well, then you got to deal with the devil. You're kind of in your shadow energy. That means you're probably going to reject some loving people in your life because you haven't learned to love yourself. You haven't learned to stand up for yourself. maybe just not willing to accept that other people could love you, even though you could be a very loving, giving person. Your pattern of relationship could be that I'm used to kind of indulging other people who don't really invest in me or don't treat me the same way. And it's out of my comfort zone to be in a relationship with people who do treat me the way I treat them. It's like, I am not used to this. I'm used to the prideful or the egotistical or the bossy or the controlling or the defensive. And it's like, well, you can keep doing that. Or you can learn why you would even keep indulging people who are like that. Why do you not think you deserve, and why do you keep fighting with people to get them to love you when you could go find the people in the world who are just loving and nurturing and just and fair and warm? You know, it's part of our egoic nature. I'm going to make you love yourself. I'm going to make you love me. I'm going to make you get out of your defensive nature like we're God or something, you know? And we need to get out of our ego and accept that everybody is where they're at based on their own free will, what they're motivated and inspired by, their own fears, their own insecurities. We can go fight the fight, or we can go find the people in the world who are on the same page as us. And sometimes we get in relationships with people, needless, we think we're on the same page. But when we start to be illuminated to the truth that some people aren't who we thought they were, and that maybe they're more bossy and controlling and defensive than we realized, maybe all about themselves, that they never do the inner work to gain insight and wisdom about why they do what they do. And so nothing changes. And though I might be attracted to them, though I might love them, I've got to see the truth. And I need to move away from these people and quit communicating with them and quit. You know, if we know we've done everything we can to be loving and encouraging and supportive to people, and they still are like, well, that's nice. Yep. Nope. I am still defensive to that dream. I'm not doing love. I'm not going to be more emotionally vulnerable. I'm not going to let my more hopeful, believing inner child out to play. They could get hurt. I'm defensive. I have my own ideas of how I view relationships and the type of relationship I want to be in, and that's not it. Well, we go within to quit hiding from the truth that we didn't want to see, to be illuminated to the truth, and to realize that we need to move away from those people if we want our dream to come into reality. And some people have just been doing this work with inside of themselves. And some of you have already done this and you've moved away. But for other people, they're just doing this work within themselves to believe in themselves, to get more balance, to quit letting their heart run their life or just their emotions, which can be fear and insecurity and codependency or lack of self-belief, run their life. And they're doing this work within themselves to give it everything they've got to get out of being defensive to loving and believing in themselves. Tell us about the Sunrise card. Eventually, it'll be illuminated. Some of you already illuminated the truth. New creative ideas, new ventures, a fresh start. And again, if it isn't regarding another person, it's just that some people were more aligned with their worldly view of life. And it maybe wasn't kind of letting their more authentic nature, the things that they'd really like to invest their time and energy into, the job that they'd really like to be in, being in relationships with the people they'd really like to be in a relationship with, because they felt like they had to conform to the world. So it doesn't always have to be needless other people, because it starts within ourselves. Knight of Cups in reverse. Judgment card. Well, the Knight of Cups is Pisces energy, and Pisces energy can be where, we were kind of living in illusion, and we can all get caught up in the illusion of the world. Won't I feel better if or isn't the point of life about the money and the status and the images, and that what makes me valuable and important in the world. Well, we're so much more than that, you know? That's like a superficial, like, oh, that person's valuable because of the clothes they wear or the car that they drive or how much money they have. We're so much worth. That doesn't even make us hardly a human being. We could be a mannequin. You know, what makes us valuable and important is our emotional component, you know, our thoughts, our ideas, how we treat other people, our character, our integrity. And some people are realizing, oh my gosh, I was just really caught up in the world. And I am inspired to make my life more than that because I'm worth more than that. And I am going to let go of my illusions of the world. And if I've been hanging out with some people who maybe wanted to keep moving forward in a relationship with me because of the image and the status and the money, I don't want to be in a relationship with them for those reasons. And I don't want them to be in a relationship with me for those reasons. If this isn't love, then I'm calling judgment on it. And that could be some of the work that some people are. They went within to be illuminated to the truth. And the truth could be that how I was living my life and the people I might have, some of the people anyway, that I might have had in my life, I don't think they had my best interest at heart. I don't think they wanted me to grow and mature myself to my full potential. I don't think they wanted me to face my fears and insecurities. I don't think they wanted me to be loving and confident within myself, because if they're not willing to do that and they keep staying back here, well then, you know, sometimes other people don't like it when other people are bold and brave and confident. Because then you maybe, if it was a romantic relationship, you know, you maybe wouldn't keep indulging them. It's kind of like, you know, like when we're age 15, it's great to hang out with people when we're 15. But then when we start to face some of our fears and insecurities to become more like an 18-year-old and they keep acting like a 15-year-old, you know, and it takes everybody at their own pace. But, you know, when we're young, 15, 18, 21, 25, you know, we have a lot of pressure on us to keep up with our peer group in a way. Go out there and get a job, move out, learn how to drive, go get a job, go get a different job, you know. And some people, you know, have a hard time even then keeping up with their peer group. And then when they get to be like 25 and they've got a job and they can be in a relationship, they're like, I'm done. I'm never going to face any more of my fears or insecurities. I'm never going to grow and mature myself anymore. This is my life. And I want you to make your life like my life. I don't want you to face your fears. I don't want you to be bold and brave enough to go get another job or to go learn a trade or go to college or go to a different town for a better job, because I'm going to stay right here. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone has a free will and everybody is in their own comfort zone. You know, it takes different folks in the world, you know. Not all of us are an astronaut or a movie star, you know. So, but we should be aligned with our truth. And if that's their truth and that's their comfort zone, they should live their life however they want to live their life. But if our truth is that this isn't my comfort zone and I might have gotten caught up in the illusion, there might initially been love there, but eventually people could have become defensive, people could have been hiding that they were overwhelmed, people could have quit communicating, people could have quit taking, you know, intimate action towards each other, that eventually it kind of feels like, I don't know why, but to me, you might be okay with it being that way and maybe want to stay in it more for the status or the image or the money or whatever. But I'm not willing to give up my dreams. So, you know, I'm willing to call judgment on it and let go of the dream that I had. Because if the dream doesn't seem to be coming into reality and it's not moving forward, or it seems like one person is putting in the work to maintain balance in the relationship and love and encouragement and is insightful and self-aware and trying to motivate and inspire everyone else, and everybody else is like, that's great, you keep doing that, we're just going to stay back here and we're going to let you do that. and we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to kind of indulge in the relationship that you're creating. Eventually it becomes overwhelming and it's like, I'm not doing it anymore. I want to be in relationships with people who work together with me to create balance and work with me cooperatively and are loving and make good decisions and have good boundaries within themselves, so they're not taking action that's bossy or controlling or immature or impulsive or hurtful or unkind. That's not love. If people aren't putting in work to be authentic and warm and loving, why are we in it? For the stability, for the security, for fear, insecurity, you know? So then we have the door. Opportunities are waiting for you. We have the Wheel of Fortune and the Knight of Wands because of the King of Pentacles in reverse. So it's kind of like willing to go with the flow and look at life as an adventure to be lived and not making your life so much about the world in the King of Pentacles. You know, we all put in work and effort to have stability and security in our life and enjoy the finer things in life. But to be and stay in a relationship just because of those things, that would kind of be living, you know, kind of a stagnant, shadowy relationship. You know, life is about growing and maturing yourself and facing your fears and insecurities. And some people just want to get in a relationship and then they're good. Oh, here's someone I can have sex with. Yeah, I'm defensive of my dreams. I hide that I'm overwhelmed. I just wanted to be in a relationship because I was kind of unstable. And so I presented myself as like a loving family person to you to get in a relationship with you. And then I just want to stay here. You know, I don't want to face any of my fears. I don't want to grow and mature myself. You know, I was overwhelmed. Let's get in a relationship so I'm not overwhelmed anymore. And or then you can get in a relationship with people who are really motivated by the world and the image and the status. I look like a boss. You know, oh my gosh, it looks like all my dreams have come true. And I hide the fact that I'm really motivated and inspired by the image and the status and the money. And it's like, no, if this isn't love, I don't want it. So tell us about the reason for the reading, which is the dog barking at the final conclusion of the reading. We have a card not showing itself, and it came out because of the Hangman card, which talks about, you know, since this was the start of the reading, we could have not been showing to the world that we felt stuck, because we could have, again, just felt stuck within ourselves. So we kind of juggled. We made our life more about money and materialism. And we could have put a lot of work and effort into that, but now we're ready to have a little more fun in life and just live our life more authentically. And we could have been hiding something to do with this card, the Six of Cups. Six of Cups is Scorpio energy. You know, the Six of Cups either means I'm repeating a pattern of the past, but because I kind of operate more from my pride and ego, or I was in a relationship with someone who's kind of stubborn, who's unwilling to expand their perception of how they view the world and how they view relationships. And we can get in relationships with people and we harness our Scorpio energy differently. Some people like deep, meaningful relationships. They're willing to explore the highs and lows of life emotionally. And other people are like, oh shit, no, man. That's complicated. That's confusing. I prefer to operate from my ego. And I think we should stay in a relationship and get in a relationship because of the ego and the image and the status and the money. And, you know, kind of create the illusion. You know, that's Pisces energy too, the Knight of Cups. And the Hangman is Pisces energy, that we can get in relationships with people where we both want to be in relationships. We both want the stability and the security and, you know, the love that could have been there initially. But then we kind of realize that one person might operate more from ego, and they were kind of hiding that they harness a little more shadowy Scorpio energy, which can be they like to keep their emotions buried beneath the surface, and they really don't like to do the highs and lows of life. You know, it's more comfortable being in an emotionally shallow and superficial relationship. You know, let's be in a relationship, I'll have sex with you, but I'm kind of overwhelmed at the thought of moving forward. If you want to step outside of the comfort zone of how I've lived my life, I kind of want to live my life the same way I've always lived my life. And if I'm kind of used to being in relationships and might have grown up with people who are kind of more emotionally shallow and superficial, who operate more from pride and ego, I want you to do that too. Because going outside of my comfort zone, I'd have to have more confidence to believe in my dreams. And that would be outside my comfort zone, that I'd have to listen to my intuition to guide me. And I have a lot of fear of doing that, no, the thought of doing that, that's way outside my worldly comfort zone. And so some of those people that people could have been moving forward with were like, nope, I'm willing to let you go as a partner because I've decided I can't do this and I want to go get in a relationship with someone who might have a more worldly view of life like me, someone else who I think might be a little more emotionally shallow and superficial, who'd be willing to stay in the relationship because of pride or ego or image or status or money. Because, you know, we're either willing to do that work within ourselves and invest the time, energy, and effort to expand our perception of how we view ourselves in the world and relationships. Because our whole life is based on what we think. You know, if we think we can, we can. If we think we can't, we can't. But it does take work and effort in the Virgo energy to be inspired in Sagittarius energy to wrap your brain around this game of life. That it isn't just about getting in a relationship and kind of being like an immature player where you don't grow and mature yourself and you have someone you're in a relationship with that you have sex with. What about growing and maturing the relationship? What about growing and maturing ourselves? And some people are like, no, I don't want to do that. And so you let go of some people who are like that in your life. Some people are doing it now because they've been enlightened to the truth that I want to be in deep, meaningful relationships. I don't want to be in a relationship or keep a job just because of the paycheck or the status or the image. I want to go get a job that's something that really motivates and inspires me. I want to be in relationships with people that motivate and inspire me. You know, I am someone who's motivated to face my fears and insecurities. I don't want to carry around the same old baggage of fear and insecurity and self-doubt I've had for the last 5 years. And some people are happy just to keep hiding that they're overwhelmed, not taking creative, inspired action in their life, that they keep wanting to live life the way they've done it. And that could be more where it's wearing this false mask, letting their ego and their more worldly nature run their life. So long as that makes them look like a boss in the world, like they've got the things of the world, that could be the most important thing. So long as I look like I have those things, I'm good. It's like, okay. You know, different strokes for different folks. And some of the people who had been moving forward in relationships like that realized I need to retreat from moving forward with that. And I need to really be illuminated to what my truth is. And for some of those people, they could have realized, just like some of you people could have realized, that, you know, because we have this dualistic nature in life, you know, we have lessons to learn in life, we could have had different people that we could have dated or went out with that we didn't even go out with because we had our patterns that we were playing out. Well, I'm not really used to being in relationships with people like you. I'm kind of more used to people like this. So we go get in relationships with people like that. And then we learn our lessons and we decide to let go of those relationships. And sometimes other people had to learn their lessons. And we kind of could realize that, you know, maybe there's someone in my past who I did find to be just and fair and loving and insightful and creative and inspired, but that kind of scared me too because I wasn't used to that. And some of those people are not going to move forward with the people they had been moving forward with to take action towards some people in their life who they think were on the same page as them, but they weren't enlightened to the truth of that in the past for some. If that doesn't work out, or you make an offer, but someone is still juggling or they're not communicating, it's just to see the truth. It's like, I've learned so many lessons now that, it doesn't have to be a particular person. It's the people who are in the same energy as me, people who are open to love and are in that place and time in their life that they're available to get in relationships. And if that's not where you're at, peace, I assume the divine has a plan for my life, and I'm going to keep moving forward. If this can't come into reality, okay, then I guess you're not the person for me. If you were, it would have worked out, when the next opportunity came around. So if it's not, okay, I'm going to expand my perception of myself and the world around me and what I believe is possible, and I'm going to keep moving forward in life. And when I keep aligning with hope and faith and acting with character and integrity and not taking impulsive and reckless, trying to grab the steering wheel from the divine, thinking I know better, all I've got to do is go live my life, treat people with love and respect, and go enjoy my life. And there's going to be other people who are going to appreciate it, and other people who are going to want to be like friends and romantic interests. So it really doesn't matter or not. But for some of you, you could communicate with someone could communicate with you. Needless, as you move forward in your life, you're going to be communicating with other people. Some people will pop up in your life, and you just need to listen to your intuition, because there's always going to be shadowy energy, because it's kind of like, did you learn your lesson yet? Here comes a player, someone who might not show you they want to repeat some patterns and ways of being. They're not really enlightened to the truth, but maybe the relationship they'd been moving forward with didn't work out for them because their partner wanted them to grow up and mature, and they didn't want to, and they see you're single and they want to come get in a relationship with you. So listen to your intuition about who comes towards you. Are they people who've been enlightened to some truths and some patterns of ways of being that they were repeating, and they are no longer communicating with someone in their past because they've learned their lessons and they've grown and matured themselves? Or are they just someone that didn't work out and now they're a player and they're wanting to indulge in a relationship thinking that you're stuck? And some of the people who might come towards you might be some people from your past, or people who are repeating a way of being that I've already been there and done that. And they don't know that you've reconciled yourself with the past. You've learned that pattern of relationship, maybe dealing with people who are prideful and egotistical. And when you illuminate them to the truths that you've learned in life, those players are going to have to go back because they see that you're not willing to offer them a cup of love or get in a relationship with them because they're immature, and they're going to have to go back and find someone else in the world who's juggling, because you're not juggling. You've been illuminated to the truth. That is truth and justice and fairness. And no, I'm not going to take impulsive, reckless, lustful, greedy, prideful action in a relationship. If this isn't where people put in work and effort to hold themselves accountable and willing to communicate and enlighten each other about what we've learned in life, then yeah, no, this relationship isn't going anywhere. So let's go look at the bottom row. Horse short journey. Well, let's look at that one first. Tell us about... Well, and the horse kind of reminds me of Sagittarius energy. They weren't willing to maybe take the creative, inspired action. They want like what they want without having to put in the work and effort. We have the Five of Swords because of the world. The Five of Swords can be people who have mental conflict about learning lessons in life. They also might want to look like a shining star in the world, And that's what drives and motivates them. And they might have mental conflict about, we got to humble ourselves to admit that I had lessons to learn. Was there something I wasn't seeing? Was there something I missed? Do I juggle? Do I not really invest? Do I wear a false mask? Am I kind of bossy and controlling? Am I defensive? Do I think it should be all about me? Am I kind of have this illusion about relationships that it should be about me indulging myself and I don't have to grow and mature myself? Well, some of those people could have mental conflict about seeing the truth. And because in High Vibe, the World card talks about learning lessons, that you've learned the lesson, you've seen the truth, you can move forward in life differently because you've let go of some of those more immature ways of being, some of your past pain and heartbreak, you've grown and matured yourself. And they could have a problem maybe admitting that they have some lessons to learn. And they could be kind of prideful and egotistical and self-centered. And they could think that they're pretty victorious maybe in the world. Either they think they're good looking or they have a lot of social clout or stability or security or something. And they think, I don't have to put in that work and effort. There's going to be people who want to get in a relationship with me. I'm like a shine. Because since 5 of Swords is Aquarius energy and Aquarius is represented by the Star card, they could think that they look really successful in the world. And they think there's other people who are going to be willing to get in a relationship with them where they can juggle, wear their false mask, be defensive, kind of make a relationship more about them, where they don't have to gain insight and wisdom or grow and mature themselves. So they could have thought that they had an opportunity. They could have thought the most difficult part of the situation was over, but I don't think so. Tell us about the most letting go of what they thought was a difficult situation, letting go of putting in work and effort, thinking they were going to have a period of prosperity and abundance. Maybe with the month of February, maybe this illusion that their dreams could come into reality without having to grow and mature themselves, possibly with other people who harness some more worldly or shadowy Pisces Aquarius energy, who also have illusions about who they are. Maybe people who haven't seen the truth of who they are, who don't know that there's someone who's not willing to learn lessons in life, not willing to look at life from any other perspective, not willing to maybe invest in people emotionally, where it's maybe more about them being indulged in a relationship. I'll go find someone who views me as a shining star, who doesn't know the truth of who I am. So we have the Magician, the Judgment, the King of Swords, Lovers, 7 of Pentacles, Empress, the Death card, the Queen of Cups, and all of those came out because of their underlying philosophy of life, their Taurus energy. They don't have to be a Taurus sun sign. It's just how they harness Taurus energy. People can harness high vibe Taurus energy. These people up here do. They put in work and effort to walk the talk. If they present themselves as being a certain way in the world, it can cause us mental conflict when we present ourselves one way in the world and we know that's not the truth of who we are. And so some people are putting in the work and effort to be someone who really is who they present themselves to be in the world. And when we're in our shadowy energy and we're more fearful or insecure or prideful or egotistical or bossy or controlling or lustful or greedy than we want people to know, we're wearing a false mask. And we're presenting ourselves different than who we say we are. And shadowy Taurus would be, I want people to view me as a pillar of society, but I'm really more motivated by money and status and image. I want the things of the world. I just don't want to put in the work and effort to have those things of the world. I might work hard at my job, but I maybe don't put work and effort maybe into a romantic relationship. Like maybe that's someone else's job, I'm supposed to be indulged in a relationship, whether they're male or female. So they were under the illusion that they could call judgment on their high vibe Taurus energy and other people in their life that they could have been working with in a workplace, in a family, in a marriage, in a relationship, and that they could choose that they think they're smart. They don't have to do that work and effort. They're smart. King of Swords, Libra energy. They think, I think I have status and image. I think I have an image of being like this just and fair person in the world. And I think I can manipulate people to exchange resources with me. Time, energy, effort, hugs, and kisses. I've decided I'm going to live more from my mind than my heart. Because if I do love, I could get hurt. And I don't want to get hurt. So I think I'm going to invest in someone who I think will exchange time, energy, and effort with me, where I can turn my back on high vibe Libra Taurus energy of the Empress, where emotionally I'm balanced and loving and nurturing and supportive. Because when we're in our shadow nature, we're tipped out of balance. We're in our more shadowy nature. I don't think I have to be just and fair and emotionally loving in a relationship. I think I can put an end to love. I think I can make life and get in a relationship and maybe invest in someone who has money and materialism. Because that's also what the Empress can mean. Because if you invest in someone who's an Empress, they're very loving or nurturing, or they have a lot of stability and security in the world. I don't have to be in relationships with people where they want mutual love, is kind of what the Queen of Cups talks about. I don't have to do that. I'll just go get in a relationship with someone who's really loving and nurturing, who will indulge me, because they're a very loving, nurturing person, maybe more loving and nurturing than the people I was even in a relationship with before. Someone who's equally out of balance. They're so loving and nurturing, they get themselves out of balance, where they indulge me in my poor behavior, and they don't realize that they're not getting treated the same way. Or I'm going to go invest in someone who has money, and I'm going to put an end to making my life about love, and I'm going to get that person to try to exchange resources with me. So, tell us about the Spear. Heartache over what you no longer have. Okay, well, we had that card not show itself. Then we had some cards flip in the deck. Okay. So, that'll maybe give us three underlying cards as to why this came out. Heartache over what you no longer have. So, I think they're hiding that they let go of a victory. If they had been in relationships with other loving people before, they could have moved forward with those people if they'd harnessed these energies in a high vibe way. High vibe Leo, high vibe Capricorn, high vibe Cancer, high vibe Capricorn. Having hope and faith and belief in love, looking at life from a higher perspective, and being more emotionally independent of their egoic nature, defensive nature, worldly nature, other people in their life that they're maybe codependent on, basically the world, for their sense of worth and value. But they let go of that and instead chose to harness shadowy Capricorn, shadowy Cancer, shadowy Aquarius, and shadowy Pisces. Instead of believing in their dreams, they decided to not align with that nature within themselves, and they chose to align with their more worldly nature, thinking, I can emotionally manipulate other people who might harness some Capricorn energy, who are still maybe caught up in the illusion of the world, who have fear and insecurity of letting go of their more worldly view of life, or egoic, or want, just not being open haven't become maybe enlightened to the truth of being more independent and trusting and believing in their intuition and, kind of maybe a little more codependent energy, or just someone who's more maybe also focused on status and image in the world. I know I can go get in a relationship with someone like that. I'll go make them an offer and I'll try to confuse them about the truth of why I held back from the people I had been in a relationship with that seemed like I had it all. But the reason is because those people were more emotionally independent. They're not enslaved by the same things I'm enslaved by. They do put in work and effort to free themselves from their past pain and heartbreak and their fear and their insecurity and their self-limiting beliefs. And they grow and mature themselves and they're more independent of the world than I am, or their addictions to whatever they're addicted to. And I didn't want to move forward with them because actually, maybe when I got in a relationship with them, I wasn't being honest, that I really wasn't kind of on the same page as them, that I really am maybe more immature, and I kind of like to be indulged in a relationship, and I don't want to have to grow up. They could be, when we become more emotionally independent, it is like learning to love ourselves and becoming our own best mother, father, coach voice in our head. Because otherwise we're still in our more codependent energy. And it is kind of looking for someone else to fill that void in our life. Will you, kind of be like a mother role in my life or a father role in my life? Instead of, because maybe we have some lessons to learn to love and believe in ourselves. And so they decided I'm going to be deceptive and manipulative. And I might be more about being more motivated and inspired by the world and money and materialism than I am love. Because if they were more motivated and inspired by love, they would have put in the work and effort for that. But some people really aren't, because they could, again, like we talked about, they could be more emotionally shallow, superficial people, and they don't even want to do deep relationships because it's just too confusing. And, they have the free will. Our thing is just to know that when someone shows us that's the truth of who they are, we accept that that's where they're at. Wouldn't everybody be open to love and give and receive love? And wouldn't everybody be really creative and inspired and trying to pursue their dreams in life, except for the fact, the way we might have been brought up, the life experiences we might have had, that stop us from doing that. And we kind of covered up that nature within ourselves. So let's go to the last one here, the vulture. So the reason their reading came out is depression, anxiety, worry that someone is against you. Well, maybe they grew up with people who they thought were going to be loving, or had gotten in relationships with people in the past who they thought were going to be loving. And maybe some of those people juggled them. Maybe some of those people presented themselves as a loving family person, but they were kind of maybe bossy and controlling and, never gained any insight. And it was overwhelming for those people to be in a relationship with people like that. And they kind of gave up on their dreams. Sometimes if the most people closest to us kind of act that way, and that's too bad, because it's just to see the truth. And sometimes that's the problem, is sometimes people kind of grew up with people who are like that, or got in relationships with people like that, and is kind of not realizing in a way that it made them kind of give up on their dreams. And then they could have taken it really personally, that if those people didn't treat me that way, maybe I'm not lovable. Maybe I don't have value. And really, it doesn't say anything about our worth and value. Those people had their own free will. Those people were battling with their own inner battle. And sadly, some of those people didn't win the battle within themselves. And they had their own fears, their own self-limiting beliefs, their own fears of being hurt and being emotionally defensive or egotistical and bossy and controlling and manipulative and abusive. And they made their own free will choice. It really wouldn't matter who was in their life. that's how they treat people. And we shouldn't take it personally, even though, we all do initially. But it's too bad they weren't inspired to look at life differently and realize that everybody has to win this battle. People who have gotten to a place within themselves to freely be able to give and receive love would be because they're more balanced within themselves. They've learned how to love themselves. They've tempered their own fears and insecurities and more immature, self-centered nature. And sadly, some people didn't win that battle within themselves. And some people could have grown up with people like that or dated people like that. And now they have mental conflict about putting themselves out there anymore. And for some of them, though, it was that they didn't want to see the truth about the people in their life because they could have loved those people. It could have been people that they grew up with. And for them to admit the truth that the reason I don't trust and love is because I feel like the people I grew up with were emotionally shallow and superficial, were manipulative, were controlling. And if the very people I grew up with were like that, how can I trust anybody? But it could be, though, that they're not also willing to admit that that's the reason, because the truth sets us free. And some people don't want to see the truth. And then some people just kind of get into the pity me place, All of us, when we can get in our shadow, if any of you thought drugs or alcohol were the answer to your problems and that really ran your life off into the ditch, when you do that, you end up pointing your finger at everyone else and everybody's to blame. And, oh my gosh, you ruminated on all those things over and over and over. When you were 12 and, everybody's at fault for you not being the creative, inspired, bold, brave, confident person that you could be. Well, if we put it in perspective and quit indulging ourselves emotionally, and we put in some work and effort to try to look at things from other people's perspective, we couldn't be the center of attention. The whole world that revolve around us constantly. But anyway, it kind of goes both ways. I'm sure you get the idea. I think some of the people, because when we're in shadowy energy, the whole thing is to treat us, you went down the wrong path, but I don't think the divine really cares, because you're going to learn lessons either way, and the divine's infinitely patient. If you want to keep going down that wrong path and learn some tough lessons, you can. We are waiting for you to love yourself. That's kind of the name of the game of this world of life. To treat yourself with love and compassion, to forgive yourself for the lessons you've had to learn, the mistakes you made, because you are like a little child, just like you were when you were a little child learning to walk, and you hit the end table and ran into the wall and hit other kids with toys. It's about learning lessons and not losing your inspiration to look at life as an adventure to be lived. I just have to wrap my brain around it, that just because this didn't work doesn't mean other things aren't going to work. I am not going to give up on my dreams, that I can go out there and learn how to run and skip and play and ride bike and do love. But sometimes we do when we get older. We lose that kind of drive and motivation. And I think when we go down the wrong path, things didn't turn out the way we planned. We didn't have the victory we thought we were going to have. The people we thought we were going to invest in, who we thought would love us, hold back from us. And part of it might be because, just like us, they might be kind of immature and have some growing up to do, seeing things from a bigger perspective, being more independent to give love. And if we think that we should be indulged in a relationship and that other people are going to keep indulging us, some of the people that are shadowy in that way, those people weren't willing to indulge them either. It's like, this is about equal give and take. And if you think you're going to be indulged, no. I am not in my fear and my codependency. You might have thought I was, but I'm not. So let's get cards on the depression, anxiety, worry that someone is against you. The biggest person that we need to win a battle against in our life isn't the other people in the world who might try to kick us to the curb and throw us to the bus, because we can pick ourselves up and move on. The biggest battle we have to win is against our own shadow nature and letting our monkey mind control our life. We're meant to be free, to enjoy life. We have defensive of putting in the work and effort to really be the person they profess themselves to be, because they're unwilling to take that higher cup of love. Some people, it's just that they don't believe there's any higher truth than the world. And if the world says your life is supposed to be about money and materialism and status and image, it isn't about love. That's not the most important thing. We need to keep repeating this tradition that it's about the world and having a certain ego and image and status. And they could be people with the vulture card saying depression, anxiety, maybe really. Again, shadowy energy is where we haven't learned to love and believe in ourselves. Why do we care what the rest of the world thinks of us? If we're living our life authentically and we can be proud of ourselves and we know we treat other people with love and kindness and grace and compassion and forgiveness for being a fallible human being just like we are, doesn't mean we want to be in a romantic relationship with them or be close friends with them, depending on how shadowy they are in their energy. But some people make their whole life about what they wear and what they drive and how much money they have. They derive their whole sense of self-worth based on what other people think of them. And if that means that in order to get the image or the status and the things that they want to have that and have people view them a certain way, that they've got to reject loving people and not work with loving people in their life or do the jobs and the career that they love, they're willing to do it. They have a lot of mental conflict about the world and looking at life from a higher perspective. And until they're willing to look at life from a higher perspective, they're going to keep having this mental conflict. And if they keep thinking the world is the most important thing, can you imagine being someone who thinks that life is all about manipulating people? That would be living from your mind, right? I've got to manipulate people to view me as this just and fair person that they want to exchange time, energy, and effort and hugs and kisses with. But even if it's just to have people communicate with them or, deal with them, it's trying to appease the world. How overwhelming would that be? We don't control those people. We have no idea what they think, but to make your life, like I've got to make you, because Libra energy can be about like people's public politician aspect of self. I need people to like me. I need people to view me as like just and fair or stable or abundant or something. I don't know. I think that'd be definitely living a little bit of hell. Because they could love, in Taurus energy again, of the Hierophant, I love the world. I need people to love me. Well, trying to manipulate people to love you and view you a certain way, how about you authentically be yourself? And if you're authentically a loving, just, and fair, and warm, and generous, and giving, and gracious, and compassionate person, you don't have anything to worry about. But, some people think it's all this game of trying to have this image to manipulate people. Well, people don't like being manipulated. And people listen to their intuition. And when people start to feel like other people are kind of manipulating them, that they're being deceptive, that they're not like as loving and warm and everything that they try to present themselves to be, people tend to want to hold back from them because I feel like you're wearing a false mask, and I'm kind of defensive to you. I don't know if I want you to be someone I move forward with because, it just makes me defensive. If you're not being authentically yourself and free enough to be yourself, it makes me feel like, what's going on with you? Why do I feel like you're trying to manipulate me? What do you want? What's your agenda? Why not just be yourself? So There you go, Taurus energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.